Scrapy is a super powerful open source web scraping tool which can help you extract data with ease. But it can be a little complicated when you are starting out. So let's dive into it today and learn web scraping with a real world example where we paginate through different pages and extract data into an output file. I am Swapnil Mane, a data extraction and web automation expert, top rated freelancer and founder of getodata.com. And now let's dive into the main topic, which is Scrapy using Python. So welcome to the tutorial, and today we'll be scraping this specific website, which is scrapethissite.com. It's a great website for real world web scraping practice. I'll link this down in the description. So when you come to this website, move to the sandbox navigation, and it has different ways of practicing web scraping, and we'll be choosing this one, which is hockey teams, form searching and pagination. It includes everything we need to get started with web scraping. So it has different hockey team names, and we will be extracting data of each team name, then the year, the wins and losses. And for practice you can extract the other data as well, so that you get more interested in web scraping, and it serves as a practice as well. So you can extract this wins, goals for and goals against, and then we'll be scraping data from each of the page which is given here, and we'll be storing the output to a CSV file. So let's just get started and create our Scrapy folder. Now that we are in Visual Studio Code, so let's create our Scrapy project. So before you do, make sure you have Python downloaded and installed in your PC, and after that we are gonna install some of the Python libraries that are needed to run the program. So let's do that with pip install. So the first library is obviously Scrapy to help us create the web scraping project. Then the next one is pylint, which helps us analyze the Python code without actually running it. Then the next one is autopep8, which formats the Python code for us. So super useful library along with Scrapy. Now since they were already installed on my end, so it went quick for me, but this may take a little bit of time on your end. Now that this is done, let's create our Scrapy project. So we can do that with the command Scrapy, then start project, and then the folder name that you want to give to the project. So since we are scraping the Scrape This Site website, we will just name this project Scrape This Site. So let's wait for some time. It will create a folder for us here with different files. Now that it has created, so let's move inside this Scrape This Site folder. So we can do that with cd Scrape This Site and press enter. Now before we understand the folder file structure, let's create our main spider file as well, where we'll be writing our main program. So to do that, we have to create the command Scrapy gen spider and the spider file name that you want to give to the main program. So since we'll be extracting hockey teams, so I have given hockey teams name over here, and the domain from which you want to extract the data from. So if you go to the website, we want to extract data from this specific domain. So we just want to give the domain name over here without the HTTPS and www. So this, and press enter. So this will create a spider file in this spiders folder. So let's wait for some time, and it will be named hockey teams. So as you can see, it has created the hockey teams spider file, and this is where we'll be writing our main program to extract the data. And it has already filled up a template where the allowed domains is this and the start URLs is this. So now let's understand the folder file structure. So the two files that you will be interacting the most is, first of all, the spiders that you create. So here it's hockeyteams.py, where you will create the main program for scraping the data from the website and process the data as well. And the second important one is settings.py, where you can change how the scraper will behave. Like if you want to add any anti-bot bypass mechanism, then you can add it here. You can make the spider more fast or more slow from here. You can change the user agent like request headers, and a lot more things that you can do here in settings.py file. So then the next files, if we see, which is initiate.py, this is configuration files for Scrapy. Then cache files again Scrapy related cache things. And then items.py file is where you can process the extracted data. This is not like compulsory, like you can extract the data here separately. It can be as a best practice to do that, but it's not compulsory to do that. Because we can process it in directly Spider's file itself, so this is something optional. Then middlewares.py file is where you can do some processes between sending request and receiving request. So when you send a request to a website, so between that, if you want to do some processing for the request, and when you receive the request, so you can do that over here in this specific file. Then pipelines.py file is if you want to process the data after it has been extracted, so something like validation, cleaning process, and stuff like that. So after the data has been extracted, so you can process it here. Then yeah, we discuss settings.py file. So let's get our hands dirty and start scraping the website. Now we are in our main Spider files, and here we can make some changes so that we can extract data according to us. So we have start URLs, which is the starting point from which you want to extract the data from. We can remove this and replace this with def start request and self. And so we do this so that we can pass multiple URLs instead of just single URL. And now to send a request to a specific URL, we write yield scrapy dot request. Then it accepts a parameter named URL, and here we can pass the website we want to extract data from, which is this one. And then the next one parameter is callback, and it accepts a function, so we'll pass it to self.parse, which is a function already created. And here, after it has completed the request, it will reach here, and this is where we will process the response. So here we can write print response.body so that we see the response that we have collected. Also in start request you cannot have response, so this is some of the pre-configurations already done. So you can have response as a second parameter in pass function and other functions only. Now allowed domains is where you have already mentioned the settings, like from which websites you want to extract data from, and if the website is other than scrapthissite.com, Scrapy will reject those specific website. So you can even remove this. So if you want to extract data from multiple websites, you can remove this. We'll keep this here since we are extracting data from only this website. And so let's run this now and see if we are able to get the HTML content. So response.body means HTML content, and to run it we will execute the command scrapy, then crawl crawl, and the name of the spider that we have created, which is this hockey teams. Press enter. And here is our HTML content that Scrapy has returned, and now we can process it. So let's go further. Now that we have got the HTML content from the website, we need to locate the specific elements that we want to extract the data. So we want to locate the team name, we want to locate the year, wins, losses, and we need to also locate the URL from the HTML content so that we can move to the next pages and get the data from there as well. So to do that, first of all, let's open inspect element with Ctrl+Shift+I, and then we need to pinpoint to the specific elements. So we do that by clicking over here and then here, like for example team name. So the team name is located in td tag, td element with the class name as name, and the parent of it is tr with class name team, and so on. So now to locate the elements there are two methods. First one is using CSS selectors in our program, and second one is using Xpaths in our program. Now in this video we'll create the Xpath ourselves for these specific elements, But yeah, if you want a more detailed approach on how to create XPaths for different elements on different websites, I'll link down a blog article in the description that you can check out and learn it from there. Also, I'll mention a free XPath finder tool that I myself have created that you can use to find XPaths on different websites for different elements accurately. So you can check those out. Definitely recommend it if you want to become a data extraction expert. Also, let me know if you want me to create a detailed video on XPaths, and I'll create it soon. So just let me know that in the comments. Now let's locate the elements and create the XPath for them. So to do that, for team names first, we locate the elements and we see that it's located in TD element with the class name as name. So to create an XPath for this and check if it is correct, we press Ctrl F in the inspect element. It opens a search bar over here where we can write our XPath and see if it is correct. And to create the XPath, it starts from // and then we need to write the elements that we want to pinpoint it to. So here we need to search like TD element, and it has given us a lot of elements like 225, and we do not need all of the TD elements. We just need this specific element which has the class equal to name. So to add the property name, we add square brackets in the XPath and then @property name, which is not name but class over here, @class, and then the value by writing equals to and the value name, which is this. Now if it was ID, then I would have separated, if I would have replaced this with ID equals to name, but since it is class, I've added name over here. And now it has got us all the team name elements that we wanted from the HTML content. But we want to get the text content from it and not just the specific elements. So in XPath we can add / over here and text and this one, round brackets. And this will show us just the text content in our program. And now we can use this XPath to extract the data in our program. So simply copy this up and come to our program. Now that we have got the XPath of the element team names, we can remove this up and we can write team names and locate that specific element using, first of all, we need to process the response. In that it has a method called .xpath which takes in the XPath that we have collected. So we can paste it up over here, and this will help Scrapy know that this is the specific data that we want to get from the HTML content. And now we need to add getAll method over here so that it get all of the text elements from the HTML content for this specific XPath. Now if we wanted just the first text element of the hockey team, so we would have replaced this with get method. But since we want all of the hockey team names, we need to add getAll method over here. Now we can print this up, but yeah, instead of printing, there is a great method in Scrapy which is yield, which lets Scrapy know that this is the specific data that we are extracting, and then we can output it to an output file as well. So team names and team names over here. So getAll method stores each of the team names in a list. So we should see a list over here. So let's run the previous command, Scrapy crawl hockey teams, and let's wait. And as you can see, it has got us a list which includes the team names. But yeah, it's stored in a list and we do not need to get the list, we need to process them separately. So let's create a for loop. So for each team in team names, and we get the team name and pass each team over here. So this should yield each of the team names separately. So if we run this again, we see that it has outputted the team names for each of the teams separately. Amazing, right? But yeah, here we have one problem, which is it has got this unneeded character which is -n, an empty space. and we do not want that. So let's remove this from each of the team name because it does not look cool. So to do that, we can process this directly, this each team itself, and we can use a inbuilt method of Python, which is replace method. So let's put this in a round brackets and call replace method on this, which accepts first parameter as the character that we want to replace it with. So we want to remove the dash n, so we replace it with empty string. So this will remove all the dash n characters from the string and replace it with empty string. So, and we also need to replace the empty space. So to do that, we can add double spaces over here as the first parameter and the second one as empty string. So this will remove all the free space that the team names get. And now let's run this so that we get a clean data. And as we can see, we have got the team names and we have removed the unwanted characters for each of the team. So yeah, now let's create the Xpath for other elements as well and get the data for them as well. Now that we have got the team names, let's extract the other elements as well. But yeah, here instead of extracting each of the data elements separately, we can do it in one block itself. Like, to explain it better, we see, like, if we see this element, we can directly extract this specific block itself. This block, this block, this block, like this line of blocks, and then from those we can extract the specific elements. So it will become easier to process and output the data. So let's just do it. So if you want to locate this element, so we can control F, we need to locate tr with the class as team. And now as you can see, like, we have got the blocks. So first of all, we get these ones. We can remove this first code and add like blocks response.xpath and add the Xpath over there. And now we can iterate through each of the blocks for each block in blocks. We did not add like get method or get all method here because we needed to process the elements more. So for each block in blocks, now we can so in this it will get each of the block, but now we need to get the specific elements, which is like team name, then year, then wins and losses. So we can get those here by adding Xpath for that. So like, for example, now we need to get the team name, right? So we write team name, and now we need to process like each block. So we need to get the specific data from each block. So each block, and then we can add Xpath over here, and in this it will go through each of the block, and from here you need to point the Xpath. So let's say we need to get the td class name, so we can add over here /td @class equals to name, and so something wrong here, double a, yes, okay, td @class and 1 equals to, yeah. So our previous Xpath, but since we have already got the block, so tr class equals to team, we do not need to add that. We need to add the next one, which is td class equals to name. So, and here since we are moving through blocks, we need to add dot also over here, so that it knows that it's an inner element and it needs to find the inner child element Xpath from each of the block. So this dot is important, and then you can write the Xpath from after this specific Xpath itself, and this will get the team name for us. Now similarly we can find year as well for it. So like team year equal to each block dot Xpath, then dot, so that it knows that it's an inner element of each block, then double slash, then for year it's like td @class equals to year. This will get us the team year. Similarly wins, can just team wins equal to each block again dot xpath, then dot for it to understand it's an inner element, then td at the rate class equals to wins. And similarly for losses we will just change this up. This is team wins, not wins, and team losses. For here let's check what's the class name, it's losses, and we can simply yield this up now. But yeah, we also need to get the text element, not the complete element, so we can add slash text in this xpath, and here now we can print this up, team name as team name, then another object team year, we add team year over here, then team wins, and similarly team losses and team losses. Also one thing we missed is adding dot get over here, because now we do not need to process the elements, we need to directly get the data that is present over there, so we add dot get over here, and hopefully this should get us all the data from this specific page. So let's run it, and you will usually see this specific type of pattern on different websites when you're extracting. So this is a great way to extract data from this type of listings. So let's run this command again, Scrapy crawl hockey teams. Let's wait. And it has got us the data, but again the issue of dash n, but we already know how to solve it. But we have got the team year, team wins, team losses, which seems correct. So let's add the dot replace commands in this. So dot replace, not here but slash n, replace it with empty string, then double spaces, replace it with empty string, copy this up and just add it to the next ones as well. And let's run this. And it has got us the data in a proper amazing format. Great. Now let's go to the final two tasks, which is extracting data from different pages as well, so from the next pages, and then outputting it to CSV file. So to do that we need to locate the next pages first, and we can do that by clicking on this and the next page, and we need to locate the URL of the next page, so which is this one. So to navigate through multiple pages we need to locate the next URL, so that we can instruct Scrapy that you need to go to the next URL and get the data from there as well. So as you can see, like the page num, if we go to the next pages, so let's say we go to the second page and check the URL. Okay, here page forms, and it has added this query parameter which is page num equal to 2. Then if we go to the third page, this gets updated to the 3, and so on till the 24th page. So what we can do is, like, we can instruct Scrapy that go through each of the URL and we just increment this page number in each of the URL, so and get the data from there. So we can do that to get the data, so let's just do that. So we just copy this up, come to our program, and now as you can see, like, it is getting the data from just this first page, and we need to add a page number to it. So we can just replace this first, and it's currently page number 24. So if we replace it with 1, it will get the data from 1, second, third, and so on. So here we can add, like, we can use like Python features. So for page in range 1 to, since the last page is like 24, so 24 plus 1 25, so that because it does not get the last number. So for page in range 1 to 25, and now we can just replace this page number 1 with the page over here, which is this one, and using string formatting of Python. So add % over here, and this will replace each of the page number with here, and like it will go through each of the page from 1 to 24, and after it gets the content from here, it will pass it to this specific function. Then the processing will happen as we have written the code, and it will get the team name, year, wins and losses for each of the block and from each of the page. So let's see if it works as we want it to work. Let's run the command. Fingers crossed, but yeah, it should work. And it's getting the data, as you can see, in a super fast way, which is why Scrapy is super useful, because it is fast. It gets the data parallelly, and it has got us the data from each of the page, which is what we wanted, right? And it has, you can see like item scraped count, so it has scraped around 582 items, and just like in 10 seconds maybe. So that's the power of Scrapy. And now the final thing, which is outputting the data to a file like CSV or JSON. And again, Scrapy has a super amazing feature for this. So let me show that to you. So to output the file, you just add the command, first of all, Scrapy crawl hockey teams as usual, and we just add dash over here to let Scrapy know that we have to now output an file, and then the file name that you want to output it to. So output sample, and let's say we want to output it to a CSV file, so we add .csv over here. If you wanted JSON, we could have added .json over here, but we want CSV. Press enter, and hopefully this should output the data to a file name output sample.csv and store this in here itself. It has already created it, and it will store the data from here to here. So let's see if it worked. Yes, let's open this up. And it has got us the data in a proper CSV file. Amazing, isn't it? And we are done. Finally, we completed. Hope that you found Scrapy super interesting and useful. Now, for the next steps, you can try extracting data from more websites that you use every day using Scrapy. We'll be diving into its more advanced features as the videos keep coming. Till then, have a great day and see you in those videos.